We are live with Rawvana Mendoza of Rawvana. Hello, Rawvana.
Hi, Josh. Hello.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank
Hmm,
you so much. It's an honor to be here. And thanks to everyone watching this video.
yeah, sweet. So, if anyone is crazy enough or isolated enough not to know Rawvana, she has a YouTube channel with like 1 million subscribers, or like probably 1.5 million between the Espanol and the Inglés, right?
Well, now we're a little bit above 2 million combined.
Holy shit. Okay, so 2 million subscribers. That's amazing. And Instagram is probably like another million at least.
Yeah.
But anyway, the point is that there's a lot of eyes on her, and she's got a lot of the mental real estate of this world, and she's doing amazing work by, helping people live healthier, happier, more fulfilled, and more connected lives. So I would love to hear about your health journey. And obviously, everyone who gets into this crazy world of health and detox is always had touched in some personal way before they jump into it. So what I would love to hear your story.
So, my story on how I began this health journey.
Yeah.
It was about 5 years ago. Yes, a little bit over 5 years ago. I was going to have a surgery. It was January of 2013. I was about to have a surgery, and the doctor said that he recommended. So at the time, I was just like any normal. I thought I was just pretty normal. I
Mhm.
was like eating whatever food I could find and that I
McDonald's.
liked.
Yeah.
Didn't really think about what I was putting. I mean, I was always like a health conscious eater just because I was like would watch my weight and stuff like that. I didn't eat junk food, but I didn't really think about like the impact that food had on my body or like the substances that those subs or the impact of substances on my body, not only physically but on a mental and spiritual state. I was drinking probably like 5 times a week alcohol.
How much
I
alcohol would you drink in a night?
Well, I mean, on like weekdays, like work days, it was just like 3 glasses of like
Just
like two to three,
three. Yeah.
two to three glasses of wine. I would drink it by myself in my apartment, just wind down and like smoke a few cigarettes. I was smoking like half a pack of cigarettes at the time. My breakfast consisted of a grande americano with one Splenda and a cigarette. That was my
Mm.
breakfast.
High
And
vibrations right there.
what?
High vibrations right there.
Super high
Yeah.
vibration. That's how I got to work, barely like trying to wake up. I was a huge coffee drinker, like 3 grande americanos at least, or two at least a day. And I was gonna have the surgery, and the doctor told me, "Hey, listen, in order for you to recuperate to get well, and for you to have yeah, for you, how do you like the healing process? In order for the healing process to go well, so the
Yeah.
doctor said that he's like, hey, I recommend that you don't drink or smoke 3 weeks prior and 3 weeks after your surgery. So I said, perfect. This is the great time to do like a detox, a cleanse, and I kind of wanted to do something. I just felt like I needed a break. I needed a rest. So I took that time to do that. It was my New Year's resolution of 2013 to not drink for the next 3 months. Like that was my last glass of champagne, I remember. And I said, okay, for 3 months, I'm not going to drink alcohol. So around 3 to 4 weeks after the surgery, I had to be at home, literally like resting, and I couldn't drive. I couldn't get out. I couldn't do a lot. I was trying to eat healthy. By the way, this was a plastic surgery for anyone wondering, and I'm super open about this. It was a breast plastic surgery, but it was so painful that I couldn't really move or do anything. And so it was in this moment when I was alone by myself, and could really I was feeling kind of low. It was a low point in my life, asking myself questions like, what's my purpose? Like I didn't really feel passion for life or like a reason to get up in the mornings. And my dad recommended I go to this place in San Diego called Optimum Health Institute. I told him, like, hey, I just feel like depressed. Like, I don't know what's going on. He's like, go there. You're gonna eat raw foods. You're gonna drink juice. You're gonna feel good. You're gonna feel amazing. And I honestly didn't even know what I was getting myself into. I just said, okay, I'm gonna do it. I trust you, Dad. And he gave it to me as a gift. So I went, and I was there for 2 weeks, and I was the youngest person there. Most of the people that go there either have like cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure, they're sick, they need to get well. So I was there, and after like day 3 of doing a juice cleanse, I just began to feel so good. I remember calling my dad, and I told him, I don't know what's going on, but I feel peace of mind. At the time, I was taking anxiety pills, Adderall pills. I was taking pills to go to sleep because I couldn't go to sleep. I had tried so many things. I had been to a few psychiatrists because of my anxiety, and because of the anxiety, I would like go and drink and smoke cigarettes. So it was just this vicious cycle that didn't stop, and I didn't really feel like I didn't feel like I found an answer. Like, I didn't feel good doing any of that. So doing this, I didn't even have any idea that my anxiety would like get well, or that I was gonna feel better. I just kind of did it. Just I was desperate, and I felt so good. I felt like increased energy and clarity of mind. Like, that was huge for me. Just having peace of mind and feeling just happy from the inside. Like, there was nothing around me really happening for me to be happy, but I was just feeling happy. My mood was improved. And so I was there for 2 weeks, and this was the very first time I was ever introduced into the vegan diet, the vegan lifestyle, the raw food specifically. And I learned how food can affect everything. Everything is connected. Like, your body, mind, and spirit is connected, and it's directly connected to food and substances and like what you're ingesting. Later, I learned about it's not only about what you're ingesting as food, but what thoughts are you having, the energy of people around you. What are you watching on TV? What are you listening to? What music are you listening to? It's like so many things. But at the time, it was like food. The food was the vehicle that led me to consciousness and like looking inward. So I left that place, and I took a bunch of books. I got my very first Vitamix and a juicer and a dehydrator, and I said, okay, I'm gonna do this. Like, I'm really gonna do it. I was living in Mexico City at the time. And that's when it started. That's when it all started. After reading the China study, it just confirmed to me that the plant-based diet was the diet for me. And then I read the 80-10-10 book by Dr. Douglas Graham, and it was like a confirmation that raw foods was the right thing for me to eat at that moment in time. And ever since then, it never stopped.
Wow.
So that's like a little summary.
Wow, really amazing. How long did you juice cleanse for at that place in San Diego?
It was only 3 days. It was 2 weeks, 3 days week 1 and 3 days week 2. But it was just like cucumber juice. So it was more like a fast, because I was only drinking like 32 ounces of cucumber juice a day.
And unlimited water?
So it wasn't, and I was getting colonics as well.
Wow.
I was drinking wheatgrass juice, which I had no idea what wheatgrass was, but I was just drinking it. And I was getting wheatgrass colonics, and I learned about enemas. It was amazing. It was beautiful.
It's amazing that the film, that film of confusion and fog that so many people live in today, can just be lifted in 3 days, of fasting. Now, obviously, that's not a permanent lifting if you don't, something popped up on the screen here. If you don't keep going with it, but it's amazing how. To all the non-believers out there of detox, I just say, like, go do a 3-day cleanse and see what happens to you. Watch that film, that cloud just leave.
It's amazing, like how your body just responds. It It's what my body had been asking me for so long. Like, let my digestive system have a rest, nourish my foods with juice,
Mm-hmm.
with raw foods, nourish my body. I'm sorry, my cells. It's profound. It's really profound, and it's so easy. It's
Yeah.
not hard.
We got to take a 5-second break. My hard drive is just about to fill up for some weird reason,
Okay.
and I just have to delete some files. Okay, we're back. Sorry guys, my hard drive filled up.
That
Um,
works.
yeah. So okay, so 3 days, and then it was 2 weeks total, and you did 3 days twice, one each week, and that kind of
Yes.
just locked you into the vegan or holistic lifestyle after that.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. That was it.
And I guess while you're over there, you started to realize how everything is interconnected. The books we read, the TV we watch, the people we talk to, everything can either be nourishment or almost like a toxin, you know?
For sure. For
Yeah.
sure. Everything. You just become so much more hypersensitive to everything around you when you're eating clean,
Yeah.
that you start to notice things that you didn't notice before.
Yep. Like,
Hmm.
like, you know, when I started this detox journey, I could have never imagined that a conversation could change my state of being. You know, like if I was talking to somebody that wasn't pleasant or in a loving vibration, that like I was just like, well, it's a conversation. Let me continue on my day. You know, and there was just this
No.
inability to connect to my emotions, and then I realized that every single interaction I have is meaningful in some way. You know, and if I'm not present to it, then it almost like fills up in my body, you know, and that's what happened to me. 24 years,
Wow.
23 years of not being present, you know, and just like being an idiot, you know. And then
Wow.
eventually, you know, you're just forced to learn about health. So yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Something like you hit rock bottom and life just presents you with opportunities. And you either
Yeah.
take the opportunity, you see it as an opportunity, or you just ignore it.
Yeah.
You took that opportunity.
Yeah.
That's it.
So you moved from Mexico City to San Diego after that?
Yes, after
Uh-huh.
that, I was working in the family business, so I quit that and I moved to San Diego. I
Uh-huh.
moved back to San Diego and I just immersed myself into learning anything I could about the holistic vegan lifestyle. So I took a course of health coaching at IIN,
Mm-hmm.
Institute of Integrative Nutrition. I went with Dr. Graham. I studied with him in Costa Rica, in Washington. I went to other like raw food science, nutrition certificate, like literally anything I could find.
Did you ever study
um,
with Dr.
sure.
Morse?
No, it
Uh-huh.
was Doctors Rick and Carandina.
Okay.
They're at Living Light
Okay.
in Fort Bragg, California. So it was the science of raw food nutrition. Because I really wanted to eat raw, but I wanted to know that I wanted it to be confirmed that it was healthy for me
Mm-hmm.
and that I wasn't going to be missing like protein or minerals or vitamins. So that's why I wanted to get educated. And on top of that, like 2 months after that, I had opened my blog, Rawvana,
It
and
started as a blog or a YouTube channel?
it started as a blog and Instagram. First, like it was my personal Instagram, and I just changed the name to Rawvana.
Uh-huh.
And then I opened up a blog, and I would write blogs in English and in Spanish. And so I felt a responsibility because I was teaching people things, and I wanted to know that what I was teaching them was right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another reason why I just wanted to learn whatever I could at the time. And yeah, that's how Ravana started actually. And then,
Wow.
like 3 months after starting the blog post, I saw that there was interest and people wanted to know more about it. So I decided to create a YouTube channel. And at the time, in Spanish, there wasn't really anyone talking about veganism or raw foods in Spanish, especially. There were some people talking about it in English, but not in Spanish. So I said, like, people need to know this.
Mm-hmm.
It was something so simple, yet I had never heard about it in my whole entire life. Like, I never knew that food had an impact like that on my mental or spiritual state. So
Yeah.
that was what I did.
That's so badass. How many years ago was that?
That was 5 years ago.
Wow. The
I know.
biggest of projects literally just start from a blog post. Like people need to like everyone always talks to me like how do I get it started? What do I do? You literally just write your story down. And the
Exactly.
biggest of projects, 3 million subscribers can come from literally one post. Obviously there's shitload of work in between the two, but like that's where it starts because you get that feedback of the world wanting to hear more and then it just creates this feedback system where you keep giving and keep wanting to help and share. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes. It just, you have to start from somewhere. I literally, that's what I did. I shared my story and I posted it on my personal Facebook. And people that I had on Facebook who were just like commenting randomly and saying congrats and it's amazing. And that's how I began to have followers.
That is so cool.
Yeah. I just didn't stop. It made me feel really good to give and
Yeah.
to have people ask me things like, what is a spiralizer? Or
A
like, what is
spiralizer?
a
I've never heard of that. What is that?
spiralizer?
Like for
It makes
water?
no, you can make zucchini noodles with it.
Oh, okay.
Yes, what you can make veggie noodles with. So
I make veggie noodles by just taking a daikon radish and peeling it with a peeler.
that works too.
Yeah, yeah. I don't need no spiralizer over here.
Yeah, you don't really need it. It's
Yeah,
like it's a fun tool. I gotta
yeah.
be. Yeah.
Cool.
So that's essentially what happened. That's how Rawvana began. That's how the YouTube channel began. And then a few months after that, I created the blog. I mean, the YouTube channel in English. So now we have three YouTube channels. It's one in Spanish. Hold on one second. So now it's three YouTube channels. It's one in Spanish, which is the main one, the one that has like 1.5 million subs, and then we have the English one, and then we have another one that's called Rawvana Vlogs. So that one I just share more of like my day to day, and that one's honestly for fun.
Yeah,
But I really enjoy making those videos.
yeah.
Yeah.
When you were all in Spanish, were you just getting a lot of people who were like, "Hey, Ravana, I like your vibe, but I just don't understand anything you're saying," and that's what made you bring it over
Personally,
to
yes,
English?
exactly. And
Yeah.
I'm like completely bilingual because both my parents are Mexican, but I was born and raised in San Diego, so I grew up with both cultures.
Mm.
It was like the Mexican culture, and at school, it was the American culture. So I said, why not? If I know both languages fluently, might as well just do it in both.
Do you feel like you have a different personality when you speak in English versus Spanish?
Totally,
What?
totally,
Let's hear the
totally.
difference. Let's hear the difference.
Well, then you can see how I am
Yeah,
in
I've
English.
I've seen, but I've seen. I'm curious from your
And
perspective.
in
Yeah.
Spanish, I'm like, hola, ¿cómo estás? Like, I'm just so much more like, I don't
But
know, out
bubbly.
there. Yeah, bubbly, a
Okay.
lot more bubbly. That's my, and essentially that's my personality in, like, when I'm with my friends too.
Okay.
When I'm speaking Spanish, I'm a lot more bubbly. And in English, I'm just more mellow. But I think it's because I learned Spanish at home and I was kind of like, just
Yeah.
brother and sister and fun. And then English, I learned it at school, so it was like a more serious.
Okay. That makes
Maybe
sense.
that's what I.
That makes sense. Yeah.
um, so that's up for Rawvana, and now
Uh,
5 years later, it's. I mean, I was just very consistent with it. Always, most of the videos, like most of my very popular videos are about weight loss. So I feel like people come to me for that, and that was a way to like introduce raw foods and the vegan lifestyle to the Latin community. I feel because there's you eat a lot of meat there, a lot of chicken, a lot of cheese. So talking about veganism or raw foods 5 years ago was very foreign to them. It was like, what is this? Like they didn't really understand. And it was in 2015 when I did my first raw vegan challenge. It was so fun because I gave people like the meal plans on what to eat for like what to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And a lot of people got to experience it, and they lost weight. So that was like I think one thing that took me to another level in my channel and like people learning about this lifestyle. and like actually trying it out instead of just like doing a recipe here and there.
Yeah. You literally change their lives because most people have so much like literally shit. Literally, people are full of shit. And when you start eating the raw diet, like it completely flushes the system out. So you
How was it
totally
for
just,
you eating raw?
what's that?
How was it for you when you ate
For
raw?
me, it's funny. I ate raw at like one of my worst points in my life. So I don't know if it's the raw that made me bad or if it was kind of the chicken or the egg situation. And I was living in half in the jungle of Peru and the other half of my raw veganism, I was living in the mountains of Peru in a place called Pisac. It's called the Sacred Valley, actually. It's really beautiful. If anyone is in that area, go check out the Sacred Valley for sure. It's where Machu Picchu is. But
Wow,
and I
that's
was just and I wasn't doing it correctly because literally all I was doing was getting like I would take a carrot, a beet, an avocado, and and lettuce, and I would literally just lived on lettuce, beet, avocado, and carrot, and all
no
raw.
way.
Right, so beets are really hard to digest raw, especially like I was eating a whole beet this big, and
Just like munching on it.
I was eating everything I did. I would cut up into pieces and put olive oil and sea salt on it, and that was like my diet. I had just salads all day,
Oh my
and
god.
I lost a shitload of weight. Obviously, I wasn't doing it right. I lost a shitload of weight. I felt very like floaty and airy, and couldn't bring myself back down to earth. I was also had just got done drinking like 21 ayahuasca ceremonies, so that could have
Oh,
been it. Um, but it's funny, recently I started reintroducing a lot of raw foods into my diet because I just missed the life force. I went for a period of time where I was eating mostly cooked foods, and then I really missed that life force that's in the raw foods. But for me, there's something there's something that chicken does for me, like or just any sort of clean, happy animal. Uh, Obviously, you probably don't want to hear that, but
oh, what do you? No, I want to know. What
yeah,
is it? Oh,
yeah. For me, it just like makes me feel really strong energetically. Like there's something that happens to me when I eat meat that it's not really a physical thing. It's like an energetic thing of where like I feel really, really present and like ready to tackle a project or ready to like be present for the day. When I eat too many raw foods, I feel like I'm less in my body, and I'm like more on this other plane of existence, which sometimes is fun too. But I also, when I had mercury poisoning, there were doctors who had said that if I stayed vegan, that I probably wouldn't make it. Because like, but I had severe, severe mercury poisoning.
that,
Like there are
that's
other people who detox mercury in a vegan fashion, and they get well. But for me, because it was so severe, um, the meat was like essential for basically to keep me grounded and provide with B vitamins and cholesterol, all things that I was going to be deficient in. But yeah, I haven't quite found my exact like I change diets every year. I haven't found the exact thing. Right now I'm on a lectin avoidance diet where I minimize plant lectins from like nuts, seeds, grains, beans, which is probably stuff that you eat a lot of, but um, I cut those out and it really took my health to the next level. Yeah.
I guess your body. I guess the body just goes through different phases.
Yeah.
And that's so good that you like listen to your body, and it sounds like you research and you try to find out what's best for your body in that moment, and
Yeah.
you eat, and that's great.
Totally. Yeah. So I would love to talk to you about the water fast. You did a 25-day water fast, right?
Yes, I did a 25-day water fast. This was 2014, so 4 years ago, a
Wow.
little 4 years ago. It's crazy. I can't believe
Pe-
it's been that long.
yeah, people don't understand how difficult that is. Like I've done a lot of fasting. I've never made it past 12 days. And just to put that into perspective for people, like imagine how people feel, imagine how you feel, not you, Rawvana, but an audience, a guest listening. Imagine how they feel, after missing one meal. People get this feeling of like depression and this feeling of like emptiness after one meal. Imagine just water for 25 days. So it's a serious, serious accomplishment physically, spiritually, and I'm sure by the end of it, you were like you were living on a different plane of existence at that point, right?
I was completely changed.
Wow.
after that water fast. It was, I don't think I even like realized what I was doing because at the time I wanted to do every single event of Dr. Douglas Graham. The
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Again, another edit. My hard drive crapped out on me again. Had to happen during one of the coolest guests I've ever had. Um, all right. So, okay. So the water fast. Let's get back to it. Yeah, 25
Yes.
days.
So yeah, so it was as I said, I didn't really understand. I don't think I really like saw like I magnified what I was doing. I just it was a few months before that I guess I helped facilitate a water fast because at the time I was an intern for Dr. Douglas Graham, and one of my jobs was to just check up on the people water fasting. They were doing a 10-day water fast, and I would just go in and like see how they were, check their blood pressure, and just talk to them. And I saw all the benefits that they experienced after only 10 days of water fasting. And I said, I want to do this. Like, I want to do this one day. So the next opportunity that I had to do it, I did it. It was a few months after that in Costa Rica. Dr. Douglas Graham was going to have a water fast retreat. And it was December 31st. You eat like grapes when you're like counting down for like January 1st. So that was like my last food that I had. And then the next day I was on a plane to Costa Rica fasting already.
Wow.
And that was day one. And the first week, it was so hard. So hard. I still remember just crying and calling my mom and being like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm like. It wasn't even about the food. I was just feeling like very
Your
emotional.
truth. Yeah. Underneath it all, right?
Yes, so emotional. And my mom was like, it's just the water fast. Like, you're going to be fine. You're going to be good. So that was the first week. And then after that, everything just kind of got better. And I remember I had this tally in my bathroom where, you do like, you do the sticks like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you cross it off 5. And I was like, and that was going to be 25 days. And so every day I would just go, and it's like one more day. The days went by so slow. Honestly, I think my experience in the water fast was really smooth because I had been already eating raw foods, raw vegan for 1 year before that. So I didn't really have a lot of symptoms. Like, I guess I had a little bit of a headache and feeling tired, but nothing major. And so my day consisted when I was doing a water fast. I would wake up around like 10 a.m. I was waking up pretty late. I took a bunch of books, but the book that I was more inclined to read was the Bible. So I would read the Bible for about 2 to 3 hours and journal. I journaled every single day, and I was so intrigued to find out more about the life of Jesus. I don't think I really ever like learned like what his life was. I grew up Christian, but I didn't really like, it was like a very religious kind of way of thinking about God and Jesus and spirituality that I didn't really understand it until my water fast, that I really understood what he did on earth and how he impacted people. And he became my biggest role model after that. And then after that, we would go and we would have a lecture by Dr. Douglas Graham. He would lecture to us for about 2 hours, or we would watch a video or something. And then we had some time to be on the Wi-Fi. So I would be on my phone. I would like maybe post a picture on Instagram. And I remember I had like videos filmed, so videos were going out. While I was there, I prepped a bunch of videos, and that's basically it. That was my day for 25 days. That's all I did. And on day 25, I broke my water fast and
with a watermelon.
Yes,
I saw that video. Yeah, I saw that video. Yeah.
With a watermelon.
And you probably like want to cry basically when you first eat that watermelon, right?
Oh my gosh, yes, I cried. I was like, wow, I can't believe like I'm eating, and I was obsessed with watermelon for like 3 years after that.
Wow.
Seriously obsessed with it. Like I had to eat it every single day.
Wow.
It was
Yeah, there's
amazing.
something that happens, the attachment to food that becomes so clear during those fasts, where you like you the smell of food, the taste of it, everything, you're not taking it for granted anymore after so many days of fasting. Yeah.
Yes.
Did you feel
Yeah.
like you connected to higher like realms?
Oh, for sure, for
Yeah.
sure. I was just such a much more like spiritual person and like connected to my spirit. A
Mm,
lot more peace. I was feeling a lot of peace. I remember I like put away all my electronics for like a few days, like 4 days of like zero electronics, which was really good. And yeah, it was like a reset to my body, mind, and spirit, and it
wow.
felt so good to just start from zero. So
So
after that,
beautiful.
I stayed for like another month in Costa Rica, just kind of regaining my strength back, and yeah, to be ready to go back home.
Wow.
Yeah, so I remember the first time, like even just like walking up like a little hill was like an effort, was such a huge effort. And it took me like 3 days after fasting for me to be able to do that. And
Yeah.
then we were going on walks and hikes to rebuild strength. And oh, it was amazing. I would do it again. I would totally do it again.
Yeah, for people who haven't done fasting, like during the fast, it's like you're out of breath from everything, like just walking to your getting out of your bed. Like, for me when I was do fasting, I would get out of my bed and I would get this like dizzy feeling. Like everything had to be super
Yeah,
slow.
that's, that's
Yeah.
so true. That's so
Yeah.
true. Hmm. Yes, you're the best way to do it is just to give your complete body a rest,
Yeah.
and take that time to rest, because if you're like still like going to work or like going to school and like it's yes, you could do a water fast for a certain period of time, but then it's, it doesn't have the same effect
Hmm.
as if you're like actually taking the time to completely rest.
Yeah. In ayahuasca, in the ayahuasca community, there's something called a dieta where um, a Westerner or even a local will undergo an apprenticeship with a shaman. And the way you do an apprenticeship is you eat a certain diet of only fish and plantains, and you also ingest this particular plant or tree alongside with it. So you're basically bringing this plant or tree in your body without any other plants to like totally connect to it. And that's called a dieta. And there were some people in the community that would say like, hey, we can actually dieta anything. Like we can dieta with a Bible, we can dieta with a certain book, and you can basically, you're not putting anything in your body and all you're doing is ingesting this certain content. And it sounds like what you literally did was like a dieta with the Bible. Like you literally
That's,
put
yeah,
nothing
that's
into your
true.
body, no like food and no just water, and you literally just ingested the Bible. So that's amazing. It's amazing.
That's true. That's
Yeah,
essentially what I did, and journal my experience.
super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. And after that, I became very athletic. I was running a lot. I was running like half marathons, which I had never done in my life. I became very active. Like physical activity became one of my priorities, or it still is one of my priorities. But at the time, it was like, it was, yeah, I just wanted to be active. And that's another thing when you're eating raw foods. You want to be like moving a lot and you're just like running around all the time. And so I was eating raw for 3 years and I was getting a lot of that. And I think that's one thing that eating cooked helped me to just ground myself more. And I was able to like actually like, for example, create an ebook that it took me so long to do because I couldn't really like concentrate that well,
Mm.
or take on like big projects and like follow through with them. I think just eating more grounding cooked foods has helped me to do that.
Mm.
And and I'm not saying that raw foods is bad. I love eating raw. I love eating raw, but it's for like certain times of like what do I want to achieve? Like if I want to be like super active and do a lot of cardio, then I'm going to be eating a lot of raw.
Yeah.
So, hmm.
Phases, everything in phases, right?
Yes.
Yeah. The health community seems to want to tell everyone else that they're wrong or say this one way is the way for everybody. But I feel like everything is good for certain people during that phase of time, you know, as
Exactly.
opposed to like a blanket remedy for all humankind.
For sure, I
Yeah.
completely agree. That's a very holistic way of approaching nutrition, I feel.
Yeah.
No, I don't think one size fits all.
Hmm.
It's for everyone, and yeah, and at different periods of time.
So now
So
you're on weight gain, right?
yes, now on my yes weight gain or
Speaking of
muscle.
phases, yeah, weight gain. Yeah.
I know. I never thought I would want to like gain weight, but I'm on that path right now. And it's not just like gaining weight, I'm like lifting
Hmm.
weights, so I'm trying to just build more muscle mass. And I've been very consistent with my weight training. And foods is where I have to meal prep in order to be like remain consistent. Otherwise, I will just eat whatever I have. Like if
Hmm.
I have oranges, I'll just eat oranges. But so meal prepping helps me a lot, and that's why I opened up a new Instagram. It's called Rawvana Fit, and I'm basically sharing my fitness journey. That's what I'm doing.
Wow. You are a busy lady. Do you do all this stuff? Do you have helpers? Like, how do you manage all of this life? Like, it's this is my biggest question to people like who are in the limelight like you. Like, how do you manage it? Because I have 10,000 followers and I feel like I'm overwhelmed a lot of the time. Like, what happens when you have 3 million? How do you have a life? Like, how do you balance it?
Um, well, it's just taking the time. Like for example, Sundays, I'm like, I mean, I'll do maybe a story or like I'll have a post prepared or something. But Sundays are usually like my days off. Like I don't
Okay.
like to really be on my phone at all. Weekends, that's kind of like how I like to do it. So
Hmm.
I take that time, and then I have help. I mean, I have a team now that
Okay.
helps me manage a lot of things, so I don't have to do a lot of things that I don't do anymore.
Okay.
Like I'm not editing videos, I'm not editing pictures, I'm not like posting things on Facebook or posting things on YouTube or answering a lot of comments. I basically just do like Instagram stories and post my Instagrams. That's what I focus on, and I'm trying to let someone else take care of the posting on Instagram. Like obviously I'm gonna prepare it and I'm gonna write everything out, but then
Yeah.
someone can just post it on my behalf. And yeah, so I've like growing, having Rawvana grow. It's also been a lot of learning on like letting like handing tasks off to people and trusting that they will do
Mm.
them correctly, because it's easy to like want to control everything, especially when I was like so used to doing everything by myself. So getting used to just like leave it to someone else and like training them beforehand, obviously, to do it right, it's so like mind refreshing, and it like clears my mind so much, and I can focus on like taking care of myself.
Yeah.
Like being the best version of myself and working on myself in order to like put that out to everyone else.
But there was a phase that you were doing everything by yourself.
I've always had someone that edited my videos,
Okay.
and I did everything else. I mean, I
Okay.
was like, yeah, so I was posting on Facebook, I was like creating all the recipes. Now I have someone that helps, like, we create the recipes together. I was doing the blog posts and the Instagram and answering all the comments. So I
Wow.
was doing a lot, and like my app, like writing the recipes for my app. So I was doing a lot for like, I don't know, I guess you could say the first 2 years. I was doing basically everything by myself,
That's
and
badass.
and answering emails, and it was a lot.
It's a lot. It really is a
Yeah.
lot. I'm doing everything by myself right now, and it's like, whoa, like this is serious, you know, because especially because you're dealing with people's health, you know, and you said it in the beginning of the interview. You said when now that I'm teaching, I was forced to really learn the truth because, you know, almost every sentence that we say or everything that we post on the internet, we have to like double check and make sure, is this true? Is it like, and dive into every sentence. You want to dive into like making sure it's true before you spread the word to like, you know, thousands or millions of people. So it, that makes things even more intense, you know, like with every subject comes, you know, you have to have integrity, you know, with all the subjects. So I commend you for your work. Seriously, amazing job. And uh, having millions of people subscribe to a life-changing diet and cleansing and detox, and not only that, but you talk a lot on your channel. I probably watched like 10 or 15 of your videos, and you talk a lot about your personal journey. You know, like you're just real. You know, other people are always just in this show. You know, they're in this character or this show, but I feel like you get on there and you're like talking about your codependency issues and like talking about your bad relationships, and like it's beautiful. You know, it really is beautiful to see that authenticity come through. So again, you know, thank you.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much. I appreciate that.
yeah.
Yeah, I know I just do it because I wish I had someone to. I've actually like gone and like looked for videos regarding those subjects.
Hmm.
So I'm like, okay, so maybe someone has this codependency and they don't even know that they have it. So,
Yeah,
hmm thank you.
yeah.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you wanna talk about? We'll definitely give you time to plug in all your channels and everything. But is there anything else you want to bring up? You have any questions for me?
Let's see what questions
It
do
looks
I
like you
have.
have some questions. I can feel
I do
that.
have a question. Like, how did so
Yeah.
you said that your journey started because of the depression that you had. Was
Hmm.
that like and yes, I remember you said that you just felt so low. Well, the
Hmm.
video that you put out,
Hmm.
you thought it was going to be your last video.
Hmm. Hmm.
And what was the thing that when was the moment that it clicked to you that you said, "Okay, I'm going to change."
I had been trying to change for like 3.5 years. The whole time I was trying to change. You know, it's not like anything I was doing was it's not like I was eating unhealthy or like drinking or doing drugs. Like everything was perfect. It was literally beyond perfect. Like I would spend my whole day just like when I was living in the Amazon, I would spend my whole day in walking meditation, barefoot, naked on the earth, and just saying like, "I love you,
Wow.
Josh. I love you, Earth. I love you, Josh." And like literally, like eating clean, fasting, drinking ayahuasca, meditating. It was insane. Okay, it was totally
Great.
insane. And then I I I found out about mercury poisoning. I read a woman's story. Her name is Connie Fox. She's an amazing human being. And I read her story, and it was about severe mercury poisoning. And I read it and I just said, "Holy shit, like this is what I'm dealing with." Like no other stories I read about made any sense. You know, people would talk about depression and anxiety, and I was just like, by the way they're talking about it, it's not even remotely the same thing. Like mine was like full body electrocution. I was literally being electrocuted. That's what it felt like, with anxiety. And I read her story, and immediately I started crying, and I dropped to my knees, and I called my mom into the room. I was living in my mom's basement, and I said, "Call dad." She's like, "What's going on?" I was like, "Call dad." And I called my dad on speakerphone, and I was like, "Look, guys, you almost lost your son." Like I was actually 2 days away from going to Africa to drink to take iboga, which is an even more powerful hallucinogen. And if that didn't help me, I was actually going to take my own life. Believe it or not, yeah, I was going to fast in the woods of Africa until I passed, because I gave up. It was too much. And I said, "You almost lost your son." I had a flight booked in 24 hours, and I was about to go to Africa. I was like, I know what's going on with me. And after 3.5 years, they did not believe me. You know, like they just didn't believe me anymore, didn't trust me, because every time I would go do something, I would say, "I found the answer to my problems." You know, like I'm just gonna do ayahuasca. And then next was like, "I'm just gonna do a dieta." And then next was like, "I'm just gonna do a fast." And eventually they were like, "All right, Josh, you know what do you know what's going on here? I think you need medication." You know. And so anyway, I called them and I said, "You almost lost your son. I found out what the problem is, and I need help. I can't do this alone. I need help," because I had done it alone for 3.5 years. And that was the turning point. It was that very day that was the turning point. My dad became on my side after that. You know, my dad was like very against everything I was doing, and at that moment in time, he came on my side, and he helped me with money. My mom helped me with a bunch of things around the house, and in 4 months later, I started waking up with joy in my blood again. You know, like joy in my being, and never looked back. never freaking looked back.
2.5 years ago?
That exact day that I'm talking about was like in the week of end of February 2016. So that was 2 years and 3 months ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, it was just instant. Like 4 months after that, you started feeling good again.
Yeah, but the healing, it really took me a year to be able to like be to what I would consider normal again.
Okay.
And at this point, my second year of healing, I feel like I've gone from like normal to like I feel healthier than most people I know. You know, I mean, still have issues that I'm working on. Of course, I'm still have some down days and tired days, but the amount of clarity that I feel is like again more than I feel all my friends and my community of people. So yeah,
Amazing.
yeah,
Wow. Congrats.
yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you.
You were saying that sometimes we have to hit rock bottom and go and
Yeah.
hit like a deep place
Deep.
in order to
Yeah.
change. But you found it. You found it, and
I
now you
found
can help so many people.
Yeah, thank you.
Wow. Let's see what other questions.
I love that you're interviewing me. I love it.
What is a day in your life?
A day
wanna
in my
know.
life. Okay. So, well, I have to take you around my place for that. Yeah. Should we do it? Is this your interview or my interview?
No, I'm
All right. So I wake up. Oh, is my bed made? Yes, it's made. I got my little distiller here. Can you see that water distiller?
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing. It brings fresh, clean, pure H2O. It's really, really amazing. And that's my bed with my EMF canopy.
Oh, that's cool.
So that protects against EMFs, like the Wi-Fi routers and stuff like that. Here's my kitchen.
Nice.
I have a juicer, Vitamix. So basically, I wake up, I take a look outside, and I just thank the universe for the day and express my gratitude for my new life. And even if I'm tired or even if I don't feel well, I just say thank you so much. I look at this poster. Can you see it?
Love yourself. That's so cute.
And I just, I try and reaffirm like self-love, really regularly. And then I meditate for 20 minutes. The first thing I do is I meditate for 20 minutes. Come out of meditation, try not to check my phone, but I always lose. I check my phone. And then I do stretching. I stretch for about 30, 40 minutes a day in the morning. And then I turn the computer on, and unfortunately I start getting to work like pretty much an hour after I wake up. Which I'm trying to have like more time in the morning for myself, but it's a little bit of an addiction, to start working.
Yes, I completely. I have to wake up like at 5:30 at the latest in order to like.
In the morning.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't wake up at that time all the time. But when I do wake up at 5:30, I feel like I have so much time, like to really take my time.
Yeah.
For stretching, for meditating, and then working out, and then having breakfast. So that by like 8 a.m. I'm like, or 8:30, 9, I'm like ready to go to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. But okay, so then.
So then I have liquids. I only have liquids till like 2 p.m. I do water, distilled water with minerals in it, and silica and magnesium and lemon. And then I do a juice, and then I do a tea with coconut oil and butter. I make like a tea with coconut oil and butter and protein powder, and I blend it up, and it's like a hot latte, It's pretty amazing. What's that?
That sounds creamy.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah.
I have to try that with coconut oil, hot water, and protein powder.
Yeah, and you can put, I guess you can't do butter. You don't have ghee, do you? No.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coconut oil, yeah.
Coconut butter.
Yeah. Cacao butter.
Yeah, cacao butter.
Then So I'm usually working, having my juices, having my tea, stretching, working, kind of like back and forth. And I listen to my binaural beats like the whole morning.
Okay, nice.
Then I have a lot of calls. I do a lot of coaching calls, So like I have at least 2 to 3 calls on most days.
Okay,
Two calls a day. And
okay.
that's a lot of work, because like I'm really energetically like holding the person, So like it's not just like an hour, like no, 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 it's like
Exactly.
tell me about your life, what's going on, like and getting to the core
Yes.
of their issue, So it's a lot. So I generally need a break after my calls. I'm like I shut down the operation 4 or 5 o'clock, head outside, and just travel around. I walk around Berkeley, maybe meet up some friends. Uh, I'll have my first meal at like 3 in between calls, and I do podcasts a lot. So I do this. I'm on podcasts a lot, and I go to class every Wednesday. Go to meditation class.
Okay.
And what else? What else? I do a lot of YouTube videos, right? So like I have my own little studio here with that, and that's my camera.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sounds
So
like a pretty epic day.
it's pretty epic. I have a really good life. I really have a good life.
Oh, you do have a really good life.
Yeah, it's a good life.
And then where you live in that sunshine and the nature is beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Thanks. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
So I think that's all I have
Okay.
for questions. Yes.
Yeah, you have to go in like a few minutes, right? I would say we could do a day in the life of you, but
3:30. I have
3:30.
to go, but we can do it for next time.
Yeah, we'll
I'm
do
up
another one.
like, for interview.
Totally.
Yes, so I can go deep into it.
Great.
Okay, Josh. Well,
Alrighty.
do you want to do like an ending to your video or?
Yeah, yeah, sure. Just why don't you just plug all your stuff? You got Instagram, tell us it all of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can find me as Rawvana, Rawvana, anywhere. You can find me like that on Rawvana.com, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Rawvana. Yes, I'll see you guys there.
But you also have Rawvana Fit and Rawvana
Yes, I have
Espanol.
Rawvana Fat, Fat. I have
Yeah.
Rawvana Fit, which is an Instagram account. I have 2 apps that you can download on the Google Play Store and iTunes Store. And I also have 2 programs, complete guides to help people adopt a healthier diet.
Wow. Very
Yes,
cool.
eating plant-based. So you can
I'll
find me there.
I'll post links to all that stuff for sure.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah. Look at that emoji thing that just popped up. Did
Oh,
you
that's
see
so
that?
cute.
It's on the right side.
Aw.
Yeah. All
Those
right.
are super cute.
Peace, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you guys for watching. You guys are awesome.
Mhm.